of space.
I want to say,
like,
yeah,
well, go ahead.
It's ridiculous.
Like, before we bring Professor Dave, here's my thing, man. There's
Professor Dave.
Go ahead.
Before he even gave, you know why?
When it comes to hip hop, right? There's questions I have to ask because he spent his life studying being a part of hip hop. To take the people that have spent their lifetime understanding physics, science, all kinds of things.
Don't matter.
It is absurd. It would be the equivalency if I took an internet dude.
That does not matter.
Let me finish. If I took an internet dude who got a couple of tracks and asked him about the history of hip hop, it's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It's one person.
But what about, you say scientists, right, that have been studying for a long time, but there are people who've been in these professions that have there to lie, just like medical apartheid against African Americans. There are trained doctors.
When you follow the money,
to black people about health,
they're gonna say whatever the money tells them to say.
Nobody is saying that.
No scientist is getting funded if they do not say what the money wants them to say, sir.
Okay, that's conspiracy.
No, it's not. It's real. It's a fucking fact.
You don't get to
science is a religion now. Science is a religion. It is not what you think it is. Oh, yes, it is. And people worship at the altar of science. And these people are your new deacons and bishops, and you believe that they have the power. They're closer to God than anybody else. No. Hang on a second. My whole disclaimer before we even start this, okay, is that, hang on. I issued a challenge, Godfrey, to even come here to talk to Mr. Whoever, scientist man, that if he can present me a working model of a ball that water sticks to the outside of it, yes, as it rotates, I'll gladly sit down and have a talk with him. He hasn't showed me such model. I can give you a model right now as we sit here.
Oh, is Dave around? Is he there?
He's on.
Can he hear us?
A model right now.
I can hear you guys.
Hey, Dave. Hi, Dave. It's Godfrey. How are you? I don't see you.
Doing good.
You're doing good.
Can you guys see me?
Hey,
what up, Dave?
Dave, are you Dave the scientist?
I'm the one that contacted you, Dave.
Are you Dave the scientist?
Yeah, he's the one that
science
contacted.
communicator.
Science communicator. Well, hey, how you doing? First
What
time
does that
meeting
mean?
you.
Different.
I'm
Science
doing good.
communicator.
Science communicator. Okay. Well, here you are. You do not believe in the flat Earth theories, and you are. I've been taught that the Earth has been round for a long time. And when the flat Earth thing came around, I said, okay, what's this about? And then I listened to some of the flat Earth stuff. And you know what? Some of the stuff made sense. I was like, that kind of makes sense. And then, when you hear about what you've always been learning about, well, that kind of makes sense. And then when I talked to, actually, Dave, when I talked to a fighter pilot, and then they go like 50,000 feet, way higher than commercial jet. I say, have you seen curvature? He goes, yeah, we see the curvature of the Earth. That's what he said. I was like,
I've seen multiple videos where they say no.
You talk about we're supposed to take care of your video over a pilot who has thousands of hours.
We've seen multiple pilots say that it's
so Dave. So who's gonna go first? Tell us, Dave, why you are against what he believes. How about that?
Yeah, flat Earth is the dumbest hoax in human history. Jamar just watched some videos by Eric Dubé, who just spews a bunch of memorized what he says and repeats it and pretends to be intelligent. Instead, everything you say is so insanely stupid and can be disproven with like middle school level physics.
Really?
So yeah, we can go ahead and you can rattle off.
Do you have a working model of a ball that has water sticking to the outside?
Before we get any further into that, just want to go ahead and let you get a taste of what we're talking about today. I'm Joseph Ward, Patrick Irvin, Professor Carl Tone Jones. Welcome to Breakdown Friday here on the Shoulders of Giants. And this video is about Lord Jamar and Professor Dave, or the scientist, having a debate about whether the Earth is flat or not. But for me, it's a part of a bigger conversation that I know the three of us have had a while. I can remember other scholars in the past talking about this, but I know it's been something for me that has been important for a long time. Being able to get past the pseudoscience, or being able to get past information that is believed to be true, but our community, supposed the conscious community as well, don't really go that extra mile to do the research and find out what's really true. So it's a lot of information within our community that's circulating, that has been circulating for a while, that has not necessarily served us. Now, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not gonna act like I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm all for a good conspiracy, but hang around YouTube for a while, we got to make sure we can back up what we're saying with some information. And Lord Jamar is one of the latest people that would be within the conscious community, some realm of the conscious community. Lord Jamar would represent the hip hop in some areas of the conscious community, who has, I guess you could say, taken a fall this year, or the from 2024 coming in 2025, him, Billy Carson, and other people who have been looked at in some realms and been followed, and the information has been debunked heavily. Now, I'm not saying throw these gentlemen away, but what I am saying is being careful with our community, and especially people who listen to us, follow us. Let's make sure that we are marrying our beliefs or backing up our beliefs with proper information, because last thing we need to be doing is moving further with what we believe is to be true versus what actual truth is, and not really having that type of information there. And I just think that's a big issue in our community. I know we talk about it a lot. I know I talk about it a lot, and being able to prove what we're saying, not just getting on camera and repeating stuff, not just saying what we believe is true, not just saying what we feel, or repeating stuff from videos. Because just one piece in this, they were talking about the curvature of the earth, and Lord Jamar's response is, well, I've seen several videos that have debunked that, but you know, where's the real information and all that? So this kind of what we're getting into. Yes, this conversation is about the flat earth, but the broader conversation about the miseducation that we've received over the years in the form of Black consciousness. So I know PC, I know we're having a bit of this conversation before we get started. What are your thoughts, like not just the flat earth thing, but the larger conversation I'm talking about a lot of what they call the pseudoscience coming in and being debunked now?
Oh man, this is all a distraction, because the real news is the breaking news about Drake filing an explosive lawsuit. That's the real news.
Right. I see that.
We on here watching the flat earth. The real news is what's going on with Drake. You know what I'm saying? We sort all that out.
With lead attorney.
So shout out to the lead attorney. Man, I love these conversations. Not necessarily this particular conversation they're having, but the whole concept around the flat earth. Like, it's stuff like that is fascinating to me, because it's exploring something. I mean, it's like alternative science, right? I love the planet Nibiru and Planet X, because it's based in something. Now, let me just first make this plain. I don't believe in no flat earth theory or this, that, and the other. I just gotta say that, because I can already see, we got people that get in the comment section. I don't even think they watch the show. They just read the title,
right,
and the thumbnail. In the comments be just wild as hell. Shout out though, keep making them comments.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
And make sure you like this video and subscribe.
I was just about to come back. Yes.
And share it with your friends and your family.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all of that.
All right. So I think it's interesting for like we were talking about before, like the Billy Carson stuff. I like to listen because it's like reading a book, and it just opens you up to your imagination. Like, I watch stuff like that when I'm trying to go to sleep. I put that on. This is a nice bedtime story. In terms of the way that they're buying into it, I don't know. That's
the difference. That's the difference. Like you use it as entertainment, but at the end of the day, you're not taking it to the bank.
Nah. It's a nice distraction from the reality sometimes. I mean, we deal with some heavy stuff, some heavy topics, and I'm kind of empathic, man. So a lot of the stuff you take in, it just weighs on you. So every once in a while, I don't mind watching a debate of this, that, and the other. I was watching a documentary on these people that planned on proving the earth was flat by using a laser from 4 miles away. And what they came up with, the fact, first of all, the laser shot up 100 feet over the point that they were trying to connect it to. And then in addition to that, they found out that laser expands when you shoot it. So because they didn't have a strong enough laser, basically the laser was covering 4 or 5 feet above where they were, width-wise. So it was just fascinating to me to watch stuff like that. But in terms of the people who go down this rabbit hole, every once in a while you'll find out that one of them are right about something. But for the most part, a lot of this is a lot of people go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for dealing with this type of stuff too long, because they invest so much in it that it has to become true to them. And then they invest much of their public image in this that it's to the point they get to a point of no return. I just tell people to proceed with caution and do your own research on all this type of stuff. Apparently with the flat earthers, they're saying that the South Pole is really this big frozen wall that encapsulates the planet, and that outside of that wall, there's another civilization of monsters and stuff like that. So, I mean, shit, they need to get, that's why allegedly you're not able to explore it because of the military, which is true. The military, there are military embargoes that don't allow you to explore it. But I don't know, man. I look up at the sky and I know that, I mean, damn, is the moon flat too? Is that why we only see one side? What about these other planets? You know what I'm saying? Are they for the longest, have they just been holographic images from before we could develop fire on this planet? Before we could discover fire? Come on, man. So everything else is round and able to float, and we're just on some big ass slope, a big ass plot of land to box everything in. The whole concept of mass and gravity speaks to the ability of water being able to stay on the surface, because the surface ain't flat.
Yes, because he was getting into some dumb stuff, Lord Jamar, what he was talking about, and it's just what
are they drinking? What's in those cups?
I don't know, probably some moonshine.
I see some water bottles on the tables, but I don't know. I ain't trying to disrespect Lord Jamar. I like Lord Jamar, but it is what it is, man. This is crazy.
I don't have an issue with Lord Jamar, and it's we understand the impact that Lord Jamar has had in hip hop and the impact that he's had within the conscious community. But that's just that. With that impact, you got to be careful what information you disseminate, because people are listening to you. And if you disseminate at this big age, because I just turned 41 the other day, so at my big age, if I'm not taking my time to make sure that what I'm putting out is as accurate as possible, people older than me, come on now, you got to be an adult.
Well, I think the point that I don't know who the big guy is. I've seen him before.
Definitely got his name.
Yeah. Like I said, I've seen him before. I think I've seen him on Joe Rogan and all those other. I think I've seen him on there. But the point I think that is that he made was pretty good about the fact that somebody is an expert in something, and he led off with hip hop, which I thought was pretty brilliant. That Lord Jamar is considered one of the one of the experts of the history of hip hop, right? And so, if you have a question about hip hop and you want to go to an expert, you might go to Lord Jamar. So if you have a question about science, you might want to go to a scientist. Now, Lord Jamar's counter wasn't bad, because it is true when people pay for research, they pay for the results that they want, that they're seeking. When they typically pay, when you have these big corporations, they do pay for, they want the results that they see. They don't want blind science. They don't want to discover, they don't want to run the they call it the scientific theory, where you have to you come up with a hypothesis, you gather the evidence, and you test the hypothesis to see if it's true or false, and you go with the evidence. They pretty much want what they want with the information. I'm not sure it fully applies here, because this is stuff that people were saying prior to the alleged Columbus voyage, to when they were saying Columbus was going to go on a voyage and fall off the edge of the earth.
Right. But also that same logic can be used to Lord Jamar and him giving answers about hip hop, because hip hop is just as tied to the corporations as the scientific community, if we want to go down that road. So hey, we can say that there are people from the hip hop community who will be paid off to give certain answers and all those things there too. So that can be said. Now we're not gonna get caught up in the minutia of that, but that can be said. But I think the one difference in this, when we're talking about science, is we don't need big corporations to prove science. We can go out and do experiments ourselves. So that independence right there in the science gives the average human being that ability. But even like the experts, because the experts can still do experiments, but the regular human beings can verify that by doing their own experiments.
I mean, well, you got astronomers all over the world and tracking different planets, asteroids, and meteorites, and comets, and things of that nature. And you know, when these things fall out of the sky, you can track them from somewhere else in the galaxy or in the star system. The way they're able to track it is because they're able to track the stars based on the rotation of the Earth and its place. So
we got seasons, we got days.
Yeah. So yeah.
Go ahead, Pete. Pat, jump in here, man.
Go ahead, Pat.
What just for right now, what are your thoughts, not just on the flat earth thing, but just the overall, the misinformation and the so-called pseudoscience being rampant within the conscious community?
I think it's because the conscious community is filled with people that can't critically think.
Yep.
And I think we just got to be honest about the fact that most of the people in the conscious community are not independent critical thinkers. They're the same sheeple they accuse everybody else of being. Matter of fact, they're probably more of that sheeple than everybody else that they're accusing, because at least on average, people can look, the average non-conscious community member can look at it something that is demonstrably false and say, hey, that is demonstrably false. The conscious community, you don't even have to make it make sense. You just have to show them that you agree with them on something else.
Be passionate.
So, like, if I get you to believe that I agree with you that the black man is God, I can say whatever I want to say after that, and you're gonna rock with me on it. And that's the danger of the cult that is the conscious community. Because it's not even a conscious community no more. It's a religion. Like, people are worshiping at the altar of consciousness. There are your deacons, there are your bishops, there are your pastors. Thank you for that, Lord Jamar. We appreciate it. I think we run into a real interesting game, because like PC pointed out, the whole science of how the world works is based off the earth being round. You know what? Another wonderful analogy, like, flat earth didn't originate anywhere. Like, people have always known that the earth was round. And never so often this flat earth thing will pop up and interrupt what is known to be true. You go all the way back for all of those black people that really understand the advancements in black culture in ancient times. We knew Matter of fact, the flat earth idea was something that was started and maintained and contained in Europe.
Yes. So I'm glad you said that to support that, because information I've come across, right? They're saying African people knew the earth was round. African people always knew that. So the information I come across is saying that those Greek philosophers were some of the early flat earthers, and then that flat earth. So they say around 384 to 322 BC. That's around when they had the original flat earthers, and then around the 16th century. So originally with the Greeks. You know, remember, African people had to teach the Greeks. And then when they come back to the Europeans who didn't bathe and couldn't read and write, they said the earth was flat.
But also to that, not even all of them believed it. Like there's a great debate. Like there were countless flat earthers that had respectable careers in science that had their careers ruined because they decided to get behind this flat earth thing. And matter of fact, it became so toxic. There were scientists who lost their careers because they chose to engage in the debate. By choosing to engage in the debate itself, other scientists viewed them as legitimizing the debate. Yeah. And they stopped working with them. Like, why are you arguing with an idiot? You know what? Because you're arguing with an idiot, you're an idiot. I don't want to work with you no more. That's a real thing that happened.
Look, I am big on knowing what you're talking about before you get on somewhere and starting to talk about it, especially if you're going to try to come at it like you're an expert or an authority on it. It's one thing to mention something so you and everybody else can go research it more, but it's nothing to talk about it as if you're an expert when you know you don't know, and you, especially when you just parrot and stuff. Because it's like, I saw a bunch of videos that said they're but the pilot didn't see the curvature of the earth, but you've never been in the plane. You ain't never studied this stuff. You just seen videos. You just parroting what you've seen in the videos.
Well, here's the other thing though, right? Like, where's your science to back up your model?
Well, see, that's
so I think we run into this situation where, because we know the science of this, we've all learned it. Where's your counter, and can you make everything we know fit within your model of how the world works? And I think it goes back to, again, like, it's just a lack of critical thinking, a lack of the ability to look at something, analyze it. And even the fact, even when we start having this conversation about, well, you got to present both sides of the argument, that conversation was spearheaded by the tobacco industry. Back when they wanted to be able to present an argument, back when they were first getting lambasted for killing people, they went in and they started presenting all of these arguments and making all these cases to say, well, you can't just present one side. You got to let me talk too. Like, that's when that became normalized. I'm not saying they originated. I'm saying it's a holdover from the arguments going back to the 20s and 30s when we knew tobacco was bad, and then resurfacing in the 50s and 60s when it started to become some sort of new revelation all over again, decades after we already knew. That, like, this is a holdover from that era where those same, and another Lord Jamar argument, that's also where that whole thing about the science being paid and all of that, like PC articulated, all of that comes from that same era too. So it's like we're picking and choosing what parts of bad historical science we want to.
But my one of my pet peeves too. One of you already said. First one is there is never any counter experiments. There's never any counter science. Since I've been studying Black history, since I've been associated with people in the conscious community, everybody is always like, we're not trusting the white man's science. We're not trusting the white man's research. And then they present nothing. But the second thing is, science is not an inherently white thing. we act like white people have a monopoly on science, and black people have never contributed anything to science in any shape, form, or fashion. So all science and all information in science is white, and it comes from Europe and anything. So when we talk, so we can't talk about science. We can't use science, and science can't validate anything. And it's not something that we can even think about because it's inherently white. That's the mindset of most of the black people that I come across.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing. Every time I go to the airport, I go and I'm in the restroom, and a pilot comes into the restroom. I ask them all the same thing. Have you ever seen an unidentified flying object as you've been flying around the world? They'll all look at me. Some of them will smirk and they'll say no. I said, that's what they told you to say. So hold on, Joe. Were you trying to go further in the video? Or that was it?
Yeah. It's a little more. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
Especially this part right here. Yeah. So.
Can you show me a working model?
Wet a tennis ball.
But, yes. Wet. Oh, and that. But no. That's not water sticking to.
My bad.
The ball. That's saturation of water on the ball.
So
I want you to show me where water sticks to the outside of a ball as it spins. It doesn't go to the equator of the ball and spin off.
I heard what you said.
Show me a working model. Hang on.
You said something very
Show me a working model.
Okay. The reason that things stick to the earth is because the earth is extremely massive, so it generates a very large gravitational field. When water falls off of a ball, whatever ball you're talking about, to the earth, it's because of the large gravitational field exerted by the earth. So when you're talking about water sticking to a ball, your desired demonstration of gravity fails because gravity exists. Things fall to the ground.
There is density and buoyancy, sir. Gravity is not some magical thing that makes things drop to the ground. It depends the medium that it is in. If I drop something into the water,
hold on, Joe. This is why you don't argue with idiots.
But no, like your face. Yo, that's why I started laughing, because I was looking at your face. Because I'm like, yeah, like is he? But this idiot has authority.
Right. And this is why, as a community, I continue to say we are. Go ahead and get ready to write the timestamp.
Yeah.
Because
27:53.
Because he's saying, the man is literally telling, and he's not using some white language, some Europeanized version of science. Like this is what we all know to be true. Gravity works, and you can't generate a gravitational field on the earth that is stronger than the earth's in order to make something make sense without doing catastrophic damage to the earth and potentially killing us all. Like that's
but the ball example doesn't make sense for everything that you just said.
Hold on. This is where I gotta disagree with y'all.
Okay, let us have it.
Because you can't create that. You just have to think real hard. Like you have to put your mind to it. And you focus and concentrate. When you concentrate enough, you can generate enough mass and like kinetic mass.
So
I got it. Yeah.
So
like Mississippi mass choir. I got you.
Yeah, like I got so because thought is energy, and energy is akin to gravity. It's like it's gravity adjacent. So if enough of us get together and think that is real, then sir, and look, I'm not saying Lord Jamar is an idiot in general,
but he sounds like one in this video.
This is an example of how you can be really, really, really knowledgeable in one area and totally ignorant in another one.
I'm not a scientist.
But
let's just say that now. I'm not a scientist. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, right? This is an insane version of a need to be right. This reminds me of what it's like to argue with a certain gender. Right?
I know it's coming.
It's not about this is really about what's lacking in the Black community and this masculine frame and masculine functionality and think, because logically speaking, it ain't about winning the argument. It's about coming to coming to the truth of the matter. So if you're seeking truth, then when truth is presented, your job is not to keep arguing until you find a loophole in the truth. Your job is to accept the truth as it is, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, because now you know what the truth of whatever it is.
But you got to be intelligent enough to recognize truth.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure about intelligence. I think some people. Well, this is when they say emotional intelligence. So I think that you have to be emotionally intelligent to be able to seek that out. Also, you can't come there with an agenda. You got to come if you're trying to have this
open mind.
Well, it's just as bad as saying a corporation is paying for information or paying for research because they want to get a certain result. You're showing up to this debate and you got a slanted or skewed view of how you want the outcome to be. So you're going to keep trying to angle the conversation or the debate or the argument till you get your desired outcome.
It's a lack of maturity, and a big part of maturity is being able to recognize that you don't know something and being able to articulate those words. I don't know. And I think one of the problems we have here in the community, especially in the conscious community, is a refusal to acknowledge ignorance, and not even in a negative sense, just in the purest, like you don't know sense. But then, like, even with the argument about corporate, all right, Lord Jamar, what corporation is paying for round earth science? What corporation is what corporation is paying for those results, right? And even to that, because
the same corporations that's paying the hip hop,
right? Like, but and that's where you get into. I like to ask people when they say they disagree, and I just had this conversation with somebody regarding another hotly contested debate in the Black community, one that is totally sphere changing, paradigm shifting, which is who's to go to basketball, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. And I asked the person who was a LeBron James fan, I said, what would you need to hear in order to shift your opinion that the GOAT could be anybody other than LeBron James? And they said, there's nothing you can tell me. At that point, I'm not even talking to you no more. What's the point?
Talking about.
I think what we have here is somebody in Lord Jamar who, like PC said, came in with a point.
Yeah.
And there is nothing that can be said to shift him.
Well,
he gave the I need to see a ball with it. Not that's an illusion. That's not real.
I mean,
that's something he said to make himself seem reasonable.
Like I haven't even really dug deep into this flat earth debate until like I saw this video the other day and it started piquing my interest. And then, so just looking at that and just going off the limited knowledge that I know about gravity and everything, but also listening to the explanations, I'm like, brother, that don't sound right, bro.
I've gone way deep into the flat earth debate because I deal with high schoolers. And every year, one of them think that they got flat earth figured out. So this is an ongoing, reoccurring debate for me because every generation thinks that every year, one of the kids think they smart enough to prove that flat earth is real.
But
they're probably listening to him.
It kills me, and after I said it, let it go a little bit because you got to hear what they're saying. But it kills me when I hear a Black person anywhere on the planet Earth who thinks the Earth is flat. That saddens me.
Hold on. You can't just.
It's going to sink or float.
Wait, I want you all to talk, but
Density
I want to hear both.
First of all, this guy came out real disrespectful, talk about the stupid. Like if he was in this room, I'd be smacking the shit out of him right now.
First of all,
okay, right, sir? You know that, right?
What you say to the
you know that, right?
the entire body of scientific knowledge. Let me respond to the insanely stupid thing you said.
I want you to respond to my. Let him talk, Jay. Okay, we're going to talk about what pseudoscience.
Okay, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
Density is not a force. It requires a force to produce an acceleration. Things accelerate towards the Earth. Density is a scalar. It's not a force. It can't make things move. Buoyancy, there's a buoyant force, but it has gravity in the equation. Buoyancy only exists when gravity exists.
When gravity, the secret sauce.
Here's the problem with your density bull. You think that things fall down because the air is less dense. The air is less dense above the object too. So why the fuck don't things fall up? Can you explain that to me?
Things do fall up, you bubbles go up, you stupid evaporation goes up, you dickhead.
Somebody come get your uncle. Somebody come get your damn uncle. Somebody.
Nah, it's when you have to start resulting into getting to the insult part, and they both hurl some insults, but it just basically destroys your argument.
Yeah,
because what it speaks to is your inability to articulate your argument and your point. Right. And so, and then the trolling part was unnecessary. I don't know what relationship they had prior to this conversation, but the trolling, it just becomes juvenile and childish after some point. If you want to make a point, to make it. I think it was very clever what Lord Jamar did when he came on, and he beat. I'm not sure who the science guy is, but Dave, the science guy, he beat Dave to the point when it came to presenting an alternative, like telling him to create a different model, right? Because typically speaking, Dave would have been the first one to say, "Show me a model of the flat Earth concept." So I think that was real good. That was real. That was smart in terms of like controlling the conversation in some way, shape, or form. But he just doesn't have like this. Like, I mean, and I think maybe just going too far into it, because honestly speaking, this is a dumbass conversation. So to have this debate, and it's not really a debate. It's just
well, yes, okay. So in the beginning, Lord Jamar came out F Dave. So I've seen enough of both of them. Both of them are
okay.
So that's both of their personalities all the time from what I've seen from both of them. So you got two people who don't give a damn, who gonna say whatever they got to say like that. So Lord Jamar came out, F Dave, Dave come in, you saying the stupidest stuff I've ever heard. So they both shooting back at each other. So I hear what you're saying about Lord Jamar presenting that. And it would have been.
I said both of them because
no. No, I mean, well, let me say that different. I hear what you're saying about Lord Jamar presenting the model with the tennis ball.
Yeah, he beat him to the punch.
He beat him to the punch on the presentation. Now he would have been live if he knew what he was talking about.
Right, because I thought that was a pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good start, but at the same time, I thought the same thing. Like the Earth itself is a tremendously massive rock,
right?
That has gravity, like it has mechanisms inside that rock that not only produce gravity but also produces, produces, what is it? A magnetic shield. Over the planet and so forth, which is generated by a spinning Earth. By the way, when you have the magma and the iron ball, the large iron mass in the middle of the Earth that generates the heat and also the magnetic shield. So there's so many holes in this. Like the flat Earth argument, you need to have a more solid base. Now, I've seen people who made the argument talking about we have a dome because that's what traps the air, and airplanes can only go but so high because they've seen satellites hit. They literally said they've seen satellites hit the dome or projectiles hit the dome, and so forth. And it's funny to me because I get to watch this, entertained by it. I feel sorry for people who spend their life on a journey like this. I mean, I got to give some people credit because you wouldn't know what you know about the world right now, and if people don't actually explore things that. Right. So I get the exploration part. The part about just believing,
you can't just do that though,
right? And then sticking both feet in it when you don't have the proof to go with it. Like personally, you haven't.
That's my biggest point for this video. Is it's too many black people who just believe, and like you said, it's like a religion because they just believe. It sounds fancy. It's compelling. It's very charismatic. It comes with that rhythm. It makes me feel good, so it has to be true. And look how many people are saying this. And then I can Google this and find other information that support it. But that's intellectual laziness on the part of black people. But we also got to remember, though, a community that considers itself conscious can't show any measurement or any receipts of actual real progress. And in my opinion, this is one of the reasons, because we have a lot of information that's not real information that we're trying to use to fuel us forward.
It's really based on anything that's counter to
anything white, anything that's perceived white.
Well, this is perceived white,
right?
I think so. Anything that's counter to the so-called power base.
But it's like I don't know. Well, see, yes, this flat earth stuff is perceived white to us. And I think because we know better and we know origins of it, but I don't think a lot of the younger black folk is perceived white to them because, like you just said, because it is anti-establishment.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder who was just sitting around smoking some weed one day and passing around the blunt.
That was some hash right there. That wasn't weed. That was hash.
Like, I think about.
Yeah. What you finna say, Pat?
The earth ain't even really round. Go ahead, Pat.
I mean, I'm agreeing with what PC's at right now, and I apologize if my sound is all crazy, but I'm agreeing with what PC's at right now because I agree with you, Joe. I don't think black folk really are, especially conscious black folk. I don't think they're really doing study, and I think that's at the core of what you're trying to get at, and I'm agreeing with it. I'm co-signing it. We know they don't study. We know for a fact they don't study. We know that they're looking to be entertained, and I agree with what PC is saying right now. I think most of them are blasted out of their minds when they consuming this stuff and when they coming up with stuff. They're not in their right frame of reference. It goes into the conversation we have about again, I love stupid conversations in sports because you can have so many of them, right? I'm thinking about and yes, I think it's important to shame stupid people that are confident because they need to be robbed of their confidence. Stupid people need to sit in the back quietly until they become less stupid. So I think one of the things, like when we have these conversations about basketball, right? And yes, everybody can be stupid in everything. Like there are certain topics I'm real stupid on. You know what though? Since I know I'm stupid, I don't talk about them.
Right.
I sit in the back quiet. And I let people who do know what they're talking about talk. But I was thinking about, I was having the same debate about basketball, right? Somebody was saying they handle the ball so much better nowadays than they did back in the 40s and 50s and 60s.
And I said, you think that's really because they just handle the ball better? Or do you think that there are rule changes that have allowed them to position their hand on the ball in ways that was considered carry, even when I was a kid playing basketball?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, nah, because basketball is basketball. And it's that level of level 2 shallow thinking. You're a
Right.
level 2 thinker trying to have a level 7 conversation.
Right.
You don't even understand the entire context of the situation. You don't
You don't
even
know the history.
understand. Yeah, you not even just the history, you don't even fully understand the mechanics of the present. You
Right.
have a superficial idea of what you think you saw. You don't even know what you're looking at. And that's what's happening in this debate. He's talking about water sticking to the earth. You don't even know what you're looking at, sir. You don't even know the difference between water on a tennis ball. You're talking about, no, that's saturation. Sir, you don't even know the difference. The water that saturates a tennis ball probably attains more depth than the water that's on the surface of the earth when you're talking about percentages. When you're talking about points of depth. You have no clue what you're even looking at. At this point, you're just saying a string of words in an order that to you sound intelligent.
Right. And let's listen to some of
Like,
That's
what the f are you talking about?
That's
Like,
not a. That's because there's
it's
wind.
because it's lighter than the density it's in.
Doesn't
Why?
a bubble?
How can
Doesn't
a fly
doesn't
defy
a bubble
gravity?
fall? Doesn't
How
a
can a tadpole defy gravity?
Pole defy gravity? What the?
Yeah. How does anything swim through? If gravity is holding down oceans that are tons of of force, how does anything swim through the ocean? How do you fuck your legs off the ground?
So things muscles. Birds have wings, right? You can exert
They have
force,
wings?
which allows you to accelerate. Right? Doesn't that make sense? If you jump or if you throw a ball, you're exerting force and you are counteracting gravity until that momentum runs out. You throw a ball, it goes up, and then it falls back down. Why do things fall down?
Speaking of momentum, do things
No.
energy?
Why do things fall down?
Subject. Why don't things fall up? Why do things only fall down?
Why do they?
Why do things fall up?
No. Why do things fall down only? Why don't they fall up? This is what he said.
Again, light things will rise
only with wind,
dense,
which is a
no,
force.
it's not only with wind.
Things don't float. Nothing floats.
Why doesn't a ball fall up?
But my problem with Lord Jamar's answering that, and he was like, a bubble floats. But you understand, like, there's force exerted to make that bubble go up, and it only goes up for a certain amount of time, then it comes down.
Well,
so you wave the wand around, blow the bubble, do something to exert some kind of force so the bubble can float and then come down.
Right. And a lot of the things that are presented are lighter than the air that it's in. So those things
Thank you, PC.
It'll elevate to a point in which the equilibrium, it equals out with in terms of the its weight and its escape velocity. It never achieves escape velocity because the weight in itself of it will at some point stabilize with gravity. So it's like saying, why is an ice cube heavier than or more solidly dense than the same amount of water? These are all things that we did as elementary school students in science class.
Yes, that's the problem. PC, damn it. That's why you is who you is. That's the problem with this, because this is elementary and middle school science, and we don't know it, and we call ourselves conscious.
Well, it goes back to what you and Pat were saying though the whole time, and I'm gonna just take it a step further. Conscious Negroes, conscious people, period, but conscious Negroes in particular, outcasts that don't necessarily have a place in society, so they sort of create this bubble, ironically, where these misfits find a commonality, right? And And I'm not even going to be all inclusive with Lord Jamar. He seems like a pretty social guy that has a social circle that he can fit and blend in society. So it's not all encompassing, but for the majority of the people that would cling on to this stuff, this is the only hope they have of being a part of a social caste system. And everybody wants to be a part of something socially. There's very few people that are comfortable with being hermits or loners. So I mean, I get it, but it's call it something different. Call it a social club.
Yeah.
Where we are exploring different factions of reality, because conscious just means you're awake. And that right now has been watered down so much that the Republicans have used it as a talking point to totally destroy any progress that people had made utilizing that concept over a decade ago, when it actually meant, being open and awakened to the way the world operates. Now you got people doing it to try to create a different space. It's like literally like socially trying to create a different plane of existence for a group of people that don't belong in this one.
Because
you don't have to study to get there.
They're not gonna think anyway. So why put anything out there? Because they're not gonna think anyway. So just say whatever.
But this is how cults get built. This is how Jim Jones was able to get people to go to Guyana and create Jonestown, and then when hit the fan, convince everybody else to put cyanide in a big vat of Kool-Aid. And that's why they have the conversation, don't drink the Kool-Aid. But the conscious is always drinking the Kool-Aid.
And I think what PC said, is something that needs to be echoed repeatedly. It's something that, we've tried to say on numerous occasions in a very nice way. Well, at least I know I have. And so I appreciate him for just directly saying it. The conscious community, as it stands, and this is something we all have to accept as members of it, right?
Right.
We're social outcasts in a lot of regards. We believe things that increase our standing within the group at the cost of our standing outside of the group, and we accept that because we have acknowledged that there is a limit to our standing outside of the group. So, and I know there are some people that exist outside of that, and they're in this space for a different reason. And I'm using the term we so as not to offend anybody.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, a lot of people in the conscious community are in the conscious community because there's no other community that they feel that they belong in that will have them. And we see this because the moment they get a sniff of another, it's a common joke, right? In the 70s and 80s, Black Power movement ended because the government started giving them jobs.
We've seen that though, right?
Right.
Right.
The moment they get a sniff of that life within the dominant society, they abandon all of the conscious stuff they said they used to believe.
Look, we're old enough to have grown up and see people start off totally radical to be some of the most conservative people now because they got stuff to lose now, and real life is happening.
Everybody we learned about in the Black Power movement, if they didn't become junkies, if they weren't arrested, or if they weren't persecuted heavily, they became college professors. They became mayors. They became part of the very establishment that they were trying to tear down. There's no more Joe White.
They became accepted. And I think that the core of the conscious movement is that Black people are in search of acceptance, but they don't believe they're ever going to get acceptance. So they've found acceptance and being outcasts. We're all outcasts together, so we're going to accept each other. So the further outside of alignment that we can get from the dominant society, the better we feel, because they're not going to accept us anyways.
Right.
So it's like the kid who you tell them they ain't never gonna be nothing, so they just go out of their way to be the worst version of themselves that they possibly could. That's the conscious community.
But in hindsight, they've done that to their own detriment because you've hemmed yourself in from resources from even your fellow black people. Go ahead.
But Joe, even in that, it further drives the victim mentality. Because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You won't give me resources because I'm me. Well, we're not going to identify the part of me that keeps you from giving me resources. We're going to identify the part of me that aligns with the view that I have. So you won't give me resources not because I'm crazy or because I'm a threat or because I'm potentially problematic for my own culture and community. You won't give me resources because I'm black. So go ahead.
And it's like, even though I need the resources, you need to give me my resources on my terms.
Right. And so what that does, and now we're talking about the black tax, that those of us with sense that are actually trying to do sensible things to benefit our community, we have to pay that.
But there is none. I saw. It's funny because I know we talked about that in the last show, and probably the show before that moral currency or that social currency that black people had. It's gone. The well is dry. Every time you turn around, somebody's drawing from that well every day, all day. The well is dry. There is no black tax. There's no more currency for Black America because it's used all up.
But the problem is, right, and I want to be clear about this. I'm not saying the black tax that we got to pay when we interact with white people. I'm talking about the black tax we got to pay when we interact with other black people.
It's dry. Both sides is dry.
And it's dry because of stuff like this. And I understand Jamar might be partially trolling. So I'm also being a little bit silly and over the top in my analysis of his trolling.
He not.
Well, I gotta believe he trolling, so let me live in my delusion. But the fact of the matter is, there are far too many people in the space that are as energetic and enthusiastic about things. Like, we go back to the whole idea that black people are the indigenous Native Americans. We're not. There's no such thing as the slave trade. You didn't come from Africa. Blah blah blah. All of it. It's just different iterations and variations on exactly what we're looking at here. And what's funny is the same people that will look at that and say that's foolishness will listen to this with Lord Jamar and say that brother's cooking.
Hey man, when I was on TikTok and I saw a video of a brother saying that you can walk to Africa from the Grand Canyon, and people in the comments were like, "This is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard," and I'm like, "Y'all can't be serious if you're telling me you can walk to Africa from the Grand Canyon. You can't be serious."
Well, hold on, Joe. Let's explore that a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. No,
explore it.
I am fascinated by shit like this because I want to see if they can do it. See, I'm not that person that's going to say, "Oh, no." I'm saying, "Oh, okay, go do it. Go get it. Go get it." Yeah. I need to see it. And I'm gonna watch this popcorn. I'm gonna be every time they're talking about we done discovered something. I'll be watching. We found the megalodon. Why don't find the megalodon? But let's go get it.
Hey man, it's true because it was in the documentary.
Hey, that, you know what, PC? That's so that's actually the game I play, right? You know, y'all hear me talking about all the time. Okay, now what? Yeah, you're right. Now what? Mm-hmm. That exact game put in this arena. I've never done that before. You just unlocked something for me. I appreciate that.
Let's go. Go get it. I want to see this. Yes. You said it. What word? Okay.
Yeah, all right. Let's do it. Let's just show up at the house bright and early next morning. I'm ready. You said we're gonna do this. Let's do this.
You say you done found a step ladder to the moon? Oh, go, let's go get it.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Man,
Hey!
I'm all for it, bro. I'm all for it. You said what? How Earth? Word? Yo, show me the pics. Yeah, you know
Right.
How long is it gonna take you to dig there? What? All right, I'm gonna check back every day.
Yeah. I know you're gonna get that. Let you play just a little more, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Because it is dense. Because it is dense.
Because what's that?
The ball is dense.
Than the ball? Is
The-
that what you're saying?
That
now?
don't even make sense. That's not even what
The
what
ball
you're
is
saying.
dense. If it's in regular air, it will fall to the ground. If it was in,
Why
if
does
it
it fall
was
up?
in,
Isn't
say
the air
a
above the ball
gel,
less
if it
dense
was
than
in
the
a
ball?
gel, what is it? What's the ball gonna do?
Okay, I
It's
don't
just
know
gonna
about what
stop
the fuck
there,
you're talking about
right?
The gel in the air. Why
There's
doesn't the ball
it
fall
depends
up?
on the
air
medium.
is less
Ask
dense
Why
the
does it
question
fall
and then
up? What does falling up have to do with anything? I don't
No,
understand.
because
what
you
you're
think
saying.
that
he said
everything-
he
because you
said
said
what?
there's no such thing as
you
gravity.
you said there's
Why
no
is
such
there a
thing in
preferred
gravity.
direction of falling? Why do things fall down to the ground?
Because they're heavy. Because they have density. That's
Okay,
why.
what is heavy? What is weight? Do you even know what weight
Listen
is?
to this. Listen to this. Oh my.
What's weight?
goodness.
Tell me
This
the
is
definition of
embarrassing.
weight.
It's your head on your shoulders, you fat
Oh,
head.
someone's a little
The
sassy.
debate
Like,
is
All
lost.
right, stop the fight.
What
We're
is
not
Stop
going to
the
sit
fight.
here and talk about
Debate.
Oh my
Lost.
God, this is over. This is over, man. Stop the fight. It's a wrap, bro.
VEN.
God damn, this is bad. I wonder what like I wonder because you can't be serious about that. I think there's a lot of trolling going on. It has to be a lot of trolling going on.
But
I've heard
there are other videos of him saying this stuff and being like, yeah, this is what I believe. Like he's a real flat earther.
I mean, I understand that part a little bit. Okay.
But yeah, no, he messing with the white boy too now. Yeah, he trying to throw shots at the white boy. Yeah.
This is insane.
He's not a real flat earther. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying you don't believe it, but what I'm saying is a real flat earther has answers to those questions. Now the answer might not make sense, but like I saw him pull his phone out and start Googling in the middle of the debate.
Yeah.
I saw.
Because see, he's supposed to say
I saw
the
it.
tectonic plates are mirroring the horizon of Capricorn as it surpasses the equator and is summoned by Noob Sabat. And then all of that comes back in a spherical form to make the earth flat by the ice wall. Bam.
I mean, any flat earther that says there's no such thing as gravity, I'm like, okay, you're not a real flat earther. You're just somebody that watched a YouTube video. Because flat earthers have their own explanation of gravity, and I done heard a good chunk of them.
I think a lot of the stuff that like I've heard the flat earthers, they got like whole presentations.
Yeah. I just seen one the other day. Yeah.
So they've been going at this strong for a few years now. So
the flat. You ever heard of the Flat Earth Society?
Yeah, that's who did the experiment.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of the talking points that Lord Jamar got coming from the Flat Earth Society.
They watched that one documentary and became an expert.
I guess because they have a website. I'm on the website now, the Flat Earth Society. It was started what it said in 1950s or something like that.
I about to say it wasn't no damn 1850s.
Nah, it started around 1950s or something like the Flat Earth.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's in the 1950s, 1940s, I believe. They had a convention of some kind. But what I was saying was one of the most prominent theories that I've heard that makes sense is that the Earth exists on a plane. The Earth is a flat circular plane.
Yeah.
And it's constantly being propelled up at a rate of 9.82 meters per second squared. And that's what creates the gravity, is that it's constantly being pushed upwards. Now, when you ask get up. Be a lot of different definitions. What I've heard a lot of theories that explain gravity from the flat Earth, like the serious, what I would consider anyway. Let me put that qualifier on there. What I would consider the serious flat earthers that are really trying to present a different model for how the world works. I haven't heard anybody that I would consider serious say gravity doesn't exist.
Right. Well, I'm gonna be real. I haven't heard anybody that I think is serious to say the Earth is flat. You know, because what the hell? Like, it's a lot of stuff you got to explain. I know they try to explain because I can't remember the name, but I was watching the video the other day. They was talking about the concave cacophony cup theory or something like that. I know I messed the name up, but there's all these different little theories and stuff that people have come up with to try to prove. But it's like, you know, once again, seasons, day and night, just the different things that we experience, like time zones and all these things here. Like it's nighttime here and it's daytime somewhere else. You're not gonna have that with a flat Earth. Like,
well, allegedly the sun moves in like a curve, like it curves around
because the sun's supposed to circle the Earth.
Right, in such a manner.
And the sun is closer than we think it is.
Right. It's terribly impossible for the sun to warm the Earth from 93 million miles away.
So, you know, hey man, the Earth is flat.
Right, and I guess they said the moon you couldn't get a full solar eclipse, right? If the sun and the moon if the moon was closer than the sun. I mean,
yeah, y'all remember we did that show on Harriet Tubman because they was trying to besmirch her history and trying to say Harriet Tubman didn't exist, and people are taking that and running with it to say to try to prove that Harriet Tubman didn't exist. This is like the same vein type of stuff of people who just putting out this bullshit willy-nilly, and then people running with it because it sounds convincing.
Yes, it's what we got going on right now is it's insane. Excuse me. It's insane to think about the stuff that we have going on right now. People are just losing their grip with reality. And I think for a lot of people, this is an escape from reality because reality is so bad and so hard right now. So they have to find a way to distract themselves. And if this causes to distract themselves from the current state of reality and how reality exists, I think that we really need to just understand that people are not fit for the hardships that we deal with in the world. Like, man, it's going to get worse too now because what they're predicting for the economy the next calendar year is going to be rough.
Look, man, if you don't like your reality, stop being soft and change it. Black people, if we don't like our position where we are, stop being soft and lazy and let's change it. Yes, you got to work. Yes, you got to roll your sleeves up and do some real work and get dirty and dusty out here to make change and something real for ourselves. Yep. Yeah, you, me, everybody got to do it. So you're either going to do that or shut up because nobody want to hear you complain. Everybody in the world is tired of hearing us complain about something we could do something about. And because we choose not to do nothing about it, why would anybody continue to listen to us? I'm just saying. So we're going to keep believing crazy stuff and keep being misinformed on purpose. I mean, hey, you should expect the worst.
And let me say this. Y'all stop making me side with white people because I don't like it.
Yeah. Y'all have made us side. Y'all have made us side with a couple people we ain't want to side with.
Bruh.
Yeah. But you know, FetLifeStation.com. Go over there right now. Go ahead and get your mind based right. FetLifeStation.com. Go do that right now. ThePax.org. Go check that out. ThePax.org. OnTheShoulders1.com. Check out all the sites. All the information to support us is in the description. I put the link to the full video because that video comes from Professor Dave's, from the Science Guy Dave channel, because Godfrey pulled that video down from his channel because that was on the Godfrey YouTube channel. Godfrey pulled that down. Lord Jamar made him pull that down. And actually, if you watch the whole video, Lord Jamar made Godfrey end the video because the white dude was cooking him so bad. And so Lord Jamar threatened to leave the podcast if he didn't kick the white boy off. And so they ended it with the white dude. But then Godfrey took that down, but the white dude recorded it on his end. So that's why it's still out there in the ethers. But it's just we either gonna grow up and start critically thinking and be adults and be real and then pass that down to our children, or not. Are we just gonna continue to be parroting zombies who are getting nowhere? I love y'all. Make sure y'all catch the next video coming up.